The Florida Gators continue their winning streak with a 7-5 win over Florida A&M.
You are Locked On Gators, your daily podcast on the Florida Gators, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Locked On Gators, part of the Locked On Podcast and Network, your team every day. Thanks for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day. Every day we are available daily and free reviews in the podcast and on YouTube. And the Florida Gators now have a 13-game winning streak, which is insane considering, lost the first game of the season. Have not lost since. And I think I didn't even introduce myself. I am Brandon Olsen. That's what happens when we record at 2:30 in the morning. I am Brandon Olsen, your host of Locked On Gators, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. This episode of Locked On Gators is brought to you by TurboTax. It's tax time, but for a lot of us, the old way of doing taxes is a lot, right? Trying to book an appointment that's not the most convenient, sitting in a waiting room with a stack of papers, emailing back and forth and wondering if they really get your situation. But this year, you're getting a major upgrade. Intuit TurboTax now has in-person locations nationwide, so you can meet face-to-face with a real tax expert, and your documents get uploaded straight to your TurboTax app on the spot. And just like that, you're done. Your TurboTax expert works to get you every dollar you deserve while you get real-time notifications as you go about your day. It's the relief of walking in and meeting a real person and walking out knowing your taxes are being handled right. Head to turbotax.com/local to find a store near you and book your next appointment. And the Florida Gators have done the unthinkable, right? They've avoided the midweek upset, at least for this week. Midweek games always get a little bit weird. Midweek games across the SEC specifically in recent, I was going to say in recent weeks, but really over the past 8 days, the midweek games have been just absolutely killer. You've seen LSU, you've seen Tennessee. It's just been nuts to watch. I feel like every time, every Tuesday and Wednesday, I'm getting at least one notification, one text to the group chat about this team lost a midweek game, or it'll be someone saying, "Oh, this team lost," and another person going, "That's the midweek for you." It's just nuts right now. But the Florida Gators, despite a little bit of snip, snap, did indeed avoid the upset. Florida A&M opened the scoring 1-0, then 2-0, and then Florida tied it, and then Florida took the lead, and then Florida gave up the lead, and then Florida took the lead, and that was it scoring-wise. I got to say, for me, I think my favorite thing about this team right now is just the work they're doing at the plate is awesome. I'm a big fan of work the count, get on base. Like I'm unsurprisingly, the nerdy guy is into Moneyball, right? Just get on base and that'll win you games. And Florida drew 7 walks in this game. Did a hell of a job just getting on consistently. One of them was intentional, but the Florida Gators get on. That's what they do. They won this game 7-5 against Florida A&M. Again, despite a little bit of a flip-floppy, wish-washy, whatever you want to call it. And there were Florida also played a bunch of guys that don't typically play much. And the commentary team felt obsessed with that little tidbit of just going, Coach O'Sullivan now gets to see guys that he doesn't normally see out there, right? Like Hayden Yost got the start in center field. Kyle Jones eventually took over there, but Hayden Yost got the start in center field in this game. And so for Florida, you've got just the opportunity right now to get some more depth work, get some more usage out there. I will say struck out a little too much for my liking. Gonna say that one. But for Florida to win 7-5, this is a team that bats can come alive at certain times, or at any time, not at certain times, but at any time. And I do think that they have their approach to the plate in general of, we're going to be patient. We're going to hang out. We're going to work the count. We're going to get what we can get. And we're going to make them work to get these strikeouts. I love that approach for a couple of reasons. One, work the count, make guys get a little tired, make guys come out early, especially like when there's certain games where it's like, all right, like we don't want to have to go to the bullpen in the second inning here, right? And both teams especially started the game working the count. I mean, McNeely had 45 pitches in the first 2 innings with I want to say it was a 32 pitch second inning, and then finally got out of it and did not come back in the game, right? Billy Barlow came in. Billy Barlow went 2 innings, had 3 earned runs allowed, and that was it, right? As far as earned runs go, that was it for the game. No more. Like Florida had the bullpen going a little bit deeper, and just working. I mean, struck out Florida A&M 12 times in this game. A throwing error led to one of the runs. I mean, it was chaos for a little bit. For a little bit, both teams had 2 errors, so it wasn't exactly the cleanest of all games. But Florida found a rhythm, took the lead, avoided the midweek upset, and I think that's one of those things where some teams are going to bounce back from a midweek upset, or some teams are going to take that midweek upset and use that to go, all right, this is like we had that happen. Now we got to rebound. Florida's in an interesting spot where that hasn't happened, but I don't want to say you came close because you did win by 2. You were leading for the basically whole back stretch of the game, and was like Florida A&M, even when they were threatening, didn't really feel threatening later on. But it is one of those things where it's like, all right, we kind of danced with the idea of an upset a little bit, got to avoid that. Now we get to move on. We avoided the midweek again. I don't know what the hell is going on. That it's just midweek upset mania right now. But Florida Gators avoided. We're going to talk more about it when we get back with Locked On Gators.
I'm Clea Butler, host of Locked On Women's Basketball, and this is Mazda's Women's Basketball Snapshot, celebrating the work no highlight reel can ever capture. Number 1 ranked UConn dominated St. John's 85-49 on Sunday at Madison Square Garden, extending its winning streak to 47 games. The Huskies capped a perfect 31-0 regular season, including 20-0 in the Big East. UConn is winning by nearly 38 points per game, the 3rd largest average margin in Division I history. Since 1999 to 2000, UConn has 9 undefeated regular seasons, as many as all other programs combined, and has turned 6 of those into national championships. These moments are earned off the clock, those long before the lights ever come on. The sweat, the fakes, the doubt, the scrapes, and coming back for more every time. Mazda puts that same drive into every detail. Wins define the moment, putting in the work, that defines you. There's more to a Mazda because there's more to you.
Biggest stretch of college basketball season is here. Buzzer beaters, bracket busters, those unforgettable moments that everyone's talking about the next day. Being there live for something like that, bucket list stuff. The hard part is always actually getting tickets, long queues, prices jumping around, surprise fees at checkout. The Gametime app gives fans the advantage with constant innovation. It's how you unlock amazing tickets and experiences in just a few taps. It's incredibly simple and easy to use. The Gametime guarantee means 100% legitimate tickets delivered on time at the best price. And here's the best part. Fees are included in the price you see. So what you see is what you pay. Period. Take the guesswork out of buying college basketball tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code Locked On for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account when you put LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download the Gametime app today. Thanks again for Locked On Gators, your first listen of the day every day. We are available daily and free in the podcast and on YouTube. I am Brandon Olsen, your host. And also, we didn't mention this earlier in the live show, but I am your host that is incredibly pumped to announce that technically still 8 days from today, on Thursday, March 12th, Florida Gators head coach John Summerall will be on Locked On Gators. That is not going to get old. I'm going to remind you all the time. I'm stoked about it. No other way to put it. Like I'm just straight up. I'm juiced about it. That's it. Pumped. The Florida Gators are 7-5. Brandon Olsen did not get a hit. Did get walked twice. And just the rate at which he just gets on base. That's it. And again, like I said, like guys just getting on. Love that. Blake Sear went 2 for 4, and when he stole second in the 8th inning, stole second and just kind of laid there grimacing in pain. Trainers came out, wrapped up his left wrist, thumb, hand. I don't know. It was like this and like that. And so that's the expert medical analysis that you get here on Locked On Gators is they wrapped it up like this and then they wrapped it up like that. And that's it. But Blake's here, he stayed in. So looks to be all fine and dandy over there. But Florida again, just figuring things out, just finding ways to win, even if it's not super pretty, right? Errors need to not happen, especially as we'll say egregiously as they happen. Was it Billy Barlow? I think it was Billy Barlow fielding the I almost called it a punt, fielding the bunt, and then just whipping it right past first base. And according to Nick De La Torre, Sully says they're shooting for Cade Curlin to return. Jeez, it's 3 a.m. almost. This is going to happen to return for SEC play. So Cade Curlin will hopefully be back for that. Again, this is a Florida Gators team that right now figuring out ways to win. Still trying to figure out everything with this full pitching staff. Sam Miller in this one had first off, Sam Miller got the start at short, 2 for 4, 3 RBIs in that one. I'm loving it. Ethan Sherwick did not have I don't know what it was. Ethan Sherwick at the plate just kind of looked like he was pressing. Even Brandon Olsen a little bit in the first 2 at-bats looked like he was pressing a little bit. So I don't know what it was, if it was guys kind of going like, all right, we got, again, everybody's on midweek upset alert right now. We want to avoid that. Now we're going to press and cause some internal chaos, because that's what happens, right? You press when you don't necessarily have to press, and then things go, well, not awesome for you, right? And so when you're talking about this game, Florida answered, which I will also say for a little bit felt like they weren't gonna. And then, Florida A&M just collapsed in the 7th inning. Florida benefits, right? They had an error. They had walks. They didn't get a hit in the 7th inning, but they scored 3 runs. That's the kind of game it was, by the way. That's the kind of game it was. You had bases loaded, hit by a pitch. Then you had throwing error, just chaos and nonsense. It was just one of those games where you kind of just look at it and you go, all right, like things are getting weird. I think college basketball or college baseball might be the most how we watch football and professional and college, and you go any given Sunday, any given Saturday. I think college baseball might be the most any given day sport. I used to think it was basketball, just because you can just have an off night, but college baseball is easily the most any given day sport that you have. And Florida has avoided the midweek upset again. So many teams have fallen victim to the dreaded midweek upset. Florida Gators got to avoid it. Florida Gators 13-game winning streak. See if they can keep it going this weekend, and I don't know, keep it going just forever, right? For Locked On Gators, I'm Brandon Olsen. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at WNS_Brandon. Find all my written work with New York Giants on SI and swampsignal.substack.com. And I will see you all next time.